Well, hello everyone. My name is John Brenneman. I'm the president here at MOAA Vacation. Wanted to thank everybody for joining us today. We are going over a very special cruise for next year, a luxury yacht cruise with Atlas Ocean Voyages. We're going to get started in just a second. I'm going to talk a little bit about MOAA Vacations, about the signature groups and how you would reserve your space on this cruise or any signature group cruise. And then I'm going to turn it over to Kelly, and Kelly is going to share information about Atlas Ocean Voyages for those of you who are not familiar with them, and then actually go into the itinerary of the 2027 France and Spain cruise. Exciting ports call. I think you're in for a treat. During the pres and then when she's done with that, we're going to do a Q&A, answer any questions you might have. You can ask questions at any time during the presentation. Once I'm done speaking and Kelly starts kind of into the meat of the presentation, if you will, I will be answering questions during the presentation. We will be revisiting all the questions that are asked at the end of the webinar. If you want to ask a question, if you take your cursor or if you're on a tablet or a mobile device, your finger, and you go kind of the bottom of the screen, a little menu should show up with a bunch of icons. You're looking for one that's got a little conversation bubble in it that says Q&A. It's got a question mark in it. If you do not see that icon, on the far right, you'll see a circle with three dots on it that says more. If you click on that more icon, it will give you access to all the icons. So just type your questions in there, and we will answer any questions you might have so you can make a decision on whether or not you can join us. Okay, so MOAA Vacations, we typically talk about this first slide here, shows the four things we typically talk about when we talk about MOAA Vacations. The reason we are the official travel agency for MOAA. The first thing is our superior level of service. We do provide a concierge type level of service, so elevated from what other travel agencies provide. There's a lot of things that go into this, but the one thing we kind of rest on that kind of sums up everything we do is we are the only travel agency in North America to offer service on a satisfaction guaranteed basis. And that means exactly what it says. If you have any problem, issue, concern, either before or during your trip, you reach out to us and we resolve it to your satisfaction. In almost 90% plus of the cases, if you have an issue, you'll talk directly to me. And then I will reach out to our contacts at the cruise lines, for example, with Atlas, it would be Kelly, and get that resolved right away. If I am out of touch or out of contact range, for example, I escort all of the MOAA signature groups. So we have one coming up in July. Mike Terrell, the vice president, will take care of that. So regardless of who your individual cruise or travel consultant is, if you have an issue, you go right directly to either myself or Mike so we can get that resolved right away. We do guarantee the lowest price. In fact, in a lot of cases, we have prices that are lower. When we talk about discounts, we talk about discounts that are lower than you could get going direct to the cruise line, Atlas Direct, or going to another travel agency. We do have a free amenity program. Atlas participates in this. In recognition of your past and your continued service, you can book any Atlas cruise and you will receive a $100 per person onboard credit. So just a gift from Atlas to all MOAA members anytime they cruise on any of their ships, any departure, in recognition of your service to this country. And then the final thing that we offer that's unique that other travel agencies don't offer is the group opportunities. And that's the opportunity that we're going to talk about today, which is to travel with your fellow MOAA members from across the country. You may have traveled before with some that you know, or maybe some that are in your local chapter. But when we do these signature groups, or when we do any of the groups that we do, it is the invitation goes out to all MOAA members all across the country. So we do a lot of groups, but the signature groups are special. And these are kind of the points we touch on that make these signature groups special. For example, all of the signature groups are hosted by MOAA leadership and staff. We are lucky on France and Spain. We have MOAA's president and CEO, General Kelly, going with us. So he'll actually be on the cruise. They are escorted by MOAA Vacations, as I mentioned. I had personally escort all of these. I am there for one reason and one reason only, and that's to make sure you have as much fun as possible, and I can resolve any issues, problems, or concerns that arise during the cruise. Atlas is kind enough. They give me a desk that I have that's in Paula's Pantry. I'm sure Kelly will mention this later, but Paula Pantries is sort of Starbucks at sea. Like all beverages and food, it's complimentary. So people go in the morning to get their cappuccinos and their lattes. They can get rolls and um, uh, whatever, the kind of like breakfast snacks or whatever it is. So everybody kind of during the course of the day goes through that area. That's where you're going to have the cruise director and the tour director, and I'll have a desk there. So I'm there every day to assist any way I can. We do have a welcome reception, a farewell reception. There will be a special event that we're on board. So when we do these signature groups, we try to add things to add to your experience. With signature groups in any group we do or any travel we do, friends and family are always invited. We are tasked with providing a superior level of service at the greatest value possible for MOA members. And if your trip, vacation would be enhanced if family, friends, neighbors came along. Absolutely invite them. Every signature group we do, we always end up with several members who bring friends or family members along who always have a great time. And then the last thing is the rare opportunities. We only have two signature groups this year. We're going to talk about one of them. One of them, as I mentioned, is in July that I'll be escorting, so that one's pretty much closed. We do have one on Atlas, October of this year. It's a fantastic itinerary, Dublin to Porto. Something you should certainly consider if you have some free space in your travel schedule this fall. And then, of course, next year we have four of them. And if I think this next slide kind of shows the signature groups that we have with Atlas. So I just mentioned the Western Europe, France and Spain is in July, and then we actually have a Circle Iceland in September of next year. So those are the signature groups that we have with Atlas. And then finally, I just wanted to share a couple of pictures. We did an Atlas signature group in August of last year. It was Greek Isles. That top picture you see is the group at the front of the boat, at the bow of the ship. We went out front. We had about 180 people on board. The yachts that Atlas have only have 92 staterooms. So they are a small ship experience. There's really only a few decks. So no matter where you are on the ship, you are always near where you need to be. And then just a couple other photos. We will do cooking demonstrations on board. There will be a guest celebrity chef on board. We'll actually have a cooking contest for the members on board. So if you want to show off your culinary skills. So we talked about having events on board. They're kind of fun events. The middle picture is just they have live entertainment. They do have multiple entertainment venues in the evening. So you have a choice of what you want to do. Even though it's a yacht with only 92 staterooms, they still have three, basically. They have a showroom, they have a lounge, and then they have the dome kind of more of a dance kind of place. So you do have choices in the evening. And then some people ask, yes, there is a pool. And so that's the pool on deck. So just a few pictures to kind of give you a taste. If you go to the website, and when I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but we are recording this. So this evening you'll get an email which will have a link to this webinar. What we'll do is we'll download it from Zoom and then upload it to YouTube and send you a link to that YouTube video. And you can share that video with friends and family if you would like. But I'll also include a link to a website, and on all the signature groups, and some of you may have seen this already, but on all the signature groups, we design a website specifically for that signature group. And here's a screenshot of this next slide is a screenshot. So this is the home page of the website. This is for the France and Spain cruise. As you can see, there's a number of tabs. Literally everything we go over today is on the website. But I was going to mention, if you want to see a video about Atlas. We have limited time in today's webinar with a lot to go over, but we do have a get to know, so to speak, video of Atlas on the homepage of this website. So if you want to watch the video, it is a great kind of, visual tour of the ship and everything you can expect. But as you can see, if you can kind of read those tabs at the top, there's pricing and accommodation. So it's going to show images and a description of all the different types of suites on board, and then the pricing for all the different types of suites. It's going to have the day-to-day itinerary. It's going to have a page that lists all the excursions. There are the opportunity to do back-to-back cruises. We also have extensions that you can do. So just a whole lot of information that you have there. And then what we ask people to do is once you decide that you want to join this cruise, is you just click on the book now form. It's a pretty simple form. We're just asking for your name and your contact information. Of course, you're traveling internationally, so we want everything to be as accurate as possible. So we're going to ask for your legal name, your date of birth, address, email address, and phone number. And that's just kind of saying that I want to go. And then someone will actually call you back, answer any questions you have, and then get your credit card information for the deposit. But just wanted to kind of show you the website so you kind of know what is there, which is basically it's designed to have all the information where you could be. We did put together a custom 5 night pre-package in France and a 5 night post package in Spain. And then Atlas's ship is, a lot of people are familiar with the ships that will do like Eastern Caribbean week after week. So every week the itinerary is the same. The Atlas yachts pretty much sail around the world. So there is the cruise prior to ours and then the cruise after ours that if you wanted to do a back-to-back cruise, that is available as well. Once again, we don't have time to go through all of those today. The information's on the website, and obviously you can call and ask for more information about them. So, I know we're all here to hear Kelly, so I'm going to turn it over to Kelly, who is going to talk to us about Atlas, everything that Atlas includes, and then once again, we're going to go through the day-to-day itinerary of this group. Once again, any questions, just drop them in the Q&A. I'm going to turn my camera off, and I'm going to be answering questions and listening to Kelly. And then at the very end, even if I answer the question during your presentation, we're going to readdress your question to make sure you get a complete answer. So, Kelly, you're up.
Thank you so much, John. I'm so happy to be here today. I want to start obviously by saying thank you all for your service, keeping our country and our world safe, especially off the heels of this last Memorial Day. So thank you so much, and we'd be honored to have all of you on board with us here at Atlas Ocean Voyages. I am going to, I'll introduce kind of what we do here at Atlas. So it's really what our intimate yachting expeditions are. We're going to talk about our 3 pillars that distinguish our brand, our year-round expeditions, what we include, and of course, our MOAA groups that we are so proud to host on our yachts. So we'll start with expedition. Because I just said intimate yachting expedition. So we'll start with the expedition part because I think one, that's the most exciting, but also it's really kind of what we do here at Atlas. So a journey, an expedition is just a journey undertaken by a group of people with a particular purpose, especially that of exploration and discovery. So an expedition sets forth with a purpose. It's really exploring a corner of the world, but in depth. When people think of an expedition, they often think of polar regions. And I think that that's kind of what the cruise industry and, exploration kind of has said to us is the polar regions, that's expedition. But we thought we're going to do it a little bit differently here at Atlas. So you can really embark on that journey of discovery anywhere in the world. And that's what we're doing. So whether you're sailing to Antarctica or the Mediterranean or South America, we create these immersive, authentic experiences that leave people feeling really enriched, inspired, and often changed for the better. We are the first cruise line to embark on year-round expeditions, and throughout the presentation, I'll be discussing exactly what that means. So as an overview, like I said, you're probably familiar with polar expeditions. And yes, we do them very well. It's what inspired our, the founding of our cruise line. But we're not talking about the polar expeditions during this presentation because you guys are not going to the polar regions in this, in this group. And so what I will say though, is that we do the polar regions very, very well, and we take that same approach, having an expedition team, you know, really immersing our guests into these beautiful regions. We take that same spirit of discovery and we apply it to other parts of the world. And so with our expedition, our Epicurean expeditions, which is kind of what we're focused on with you guys today, we take this really big deep dive into the culinary culture of the Med, because exploring that part of the world through that lens of food and wine is the most revealing way to do it. In Northern Europe and South America and the Caribbean, those are our cultural expeditions. They offer these amazing insights into rare natural wonders or local folklore. But we'll share a little bit more details about our year-round approach. But I do want to talk about one of our really important parts of what we do is yachting. So yes, we are a cruise line, but because our vessels are small, we call it yachting. And it's really the action, sport, or recreation of sailing on a small vessel and often associated with luxury. And yachting is an active experience as well as a leisurely and luxurious one. Our yachts are purpose built for this in mind. We have innovative engineering, cutting edge hardware, and polar class certifications, and it really is all about active exploration. The yacht's interiors and amenities are all about relaxed, refined luxury. So, speaking of our yachts, we do have 3 yachts that are currently sailing in our fleet. That's World Voyager, World Traveler, and World Navigator. They are sisters, so if you know one, you know them all. Each yacht boasts only 98 suites, which is an incredible amount of suites for such a small vessel. And it means that you have just under 200 guests on board with you at any time. One of the really interesting aspects of these yachts is that all the aesthetic is a little bit different in each one. They are quite unique to each vessel. The World Voyager has this really beautiful Baltic Nordic luxury feel. And then the World Traveler, you have this like modern luxury aesthetic. And then World Navigator, you can expect more of this like 1940s kind of luxury feel. On board each of our yachts, we feature really stylish social places, spaces that encourage conversation and connection. We also have a really stunning observation lounge with 270-degree overhead views. And then our cuisine is also crafted for really refined palates. It's really these beautiful, ever-changing menus. They take inspiration from the worldwide destinations that we visit as well. In our warm water destinations, we offer open air dining called Jasper's Grill. And I think that you guys will absolutely love that experience. It is al fresco, so you get to eat outdoors, which is so beautiful, especially as you're leaving port. And this is where our chefs prepare some of the finest cuts of steak and fresh seafood. So, what makes these intimate yachting expeditions? And intimate, I mean, it's just intimate in all of its meanings may be the perfect descriptor for Atlas Ocean Voyages. I mean, even if you just look at the definition on the slide, it's pertaining to the inmost character of a thing, closely acquainted, promoting a feeling of privacy or coziness. Like all of those words just really draw you in. The goal of a yachting expedition is to gain that intimate knowledge of an expedition or a destination. It helps you to understand the innermost character of a place and its people. With Atlas, you get to share this intimate experience with a small group of like-minded explorers, but it's not just your fellow guests, it's also the crew on board. They really have that same inquisitive and adventurous spirit. With MOAA, it actually goes a step further because you guys have your shared experiences and your calling to kind of bond you together and build this instant camaraderie. Sharing that kind of meaningful experience does create a bond. It creates intimacy. And when reflected upon in this atmosphere of this like easy, comfortable luxury on our yachts, it does create that connection. And it's a real sense of belonging and of community. And what makes our intimate yachting expeditions really inspiring is, and it is often life changing. You get to share these new, different, unexpected experiences, and it reveals that sameness that brings us together. So now that you know what Atlas Ocean Voyages is all about, the next question is, how do we deliver these intimate yachting expeditions, right? So we'll discuss some of those specifics with these are our three pillars of distinction. Together, they really create that intimate yachting expedition. So it's our destination focus, intimate and elegant yachts, and personalized service. So the first pillar is the destination focus. This is a real unique focus on our destinations. And that's what allows us to create these year-round expeditions that are immersive and inspiring and educational. In this list, you'll see a lot of the same elements that you would expect from a luxury cruise line, like overnight stays, small group excursions, pre and post expedition programs. But what I really want to what I want to deeper dive into are those three first bullets. So that immersive cultural experience, expedition experiences from the yacht, and experts enriching exploration on board and ashore. That first key element that really is those key elements on every single voyage. We always include a complimentary immersive cultural experience. This experience is often complimentary. It's an excursion that you can have either on shore, or it could be a unique event with some locals that we bring on board. The experiences are specially curated to allow guests to immerse themselves in an authentic, enriching experience of a local culture, and we do this on every single voyage. This is one important way that we deliver on the promise of these year-round expeditions. So here's a few examples of those immersive experiences. I myself have been to Antarctica, and the first one on this list is that panoramic journey through Tierra del Fuego National Park. It was really a beautiful experience. We, jumped on a bus, and they took us over to Tierra del Fuego. We had so many stops in this beautiful national park where we got to walk around. Excuse me. Where we got to walk around, we got to take pictures, we got to see so much wildlife. Then we went up to this beautiful French restaurant high up in a mountain. And then we also had all these snow-capped mountains around us while we're eating this beautiful French meal. And then Argentine wines, of course. And so it was just such a beautiful experience. But we really try to do that in every single destination that we go to. So if you are in Italy, you might have an opera performance at the Medici Fortress in Livorno. It really is all about kind of engaging these local experts. We want authentic experiences for each of the destinations that we are headed to. We want culinary discoveries when we are in the Mediterranean. We want hands-on activities, because that's how you really get to know a place and its people. And then small group explorations. And I think that's the biggest piece here, is that they are small groups. So it feels specially curated for you as a person. It feels like this real bespoke kind of excursion. And then we have our intimate and elegant yachts. So I mentioned that our yachts are engineered for active exploration. The hardware itself is designed with our destination focus in mind. The interiors and amenities that we offer are designed to create an atmosphere of relaxed, quiet luxury. And that really does define a yachting experience. Atlas caters specifically to discerning explorers. These are guests with refined tastes, like yourselves, people who really appreciate a sense of ease. These yachts our yachts are also, they combine these beautiful furnishings, really luxurious amenities, an inviting ambiance, and it does create a sense of comfort and belonging. So I did want to call out a few key elements of our yachts that you can note on the list. When our guests return to the yacht after this amazing day on shore, they also want to process what they've experienced, and they want to do that together. We've created these inviting social spaces for what we call our après expedition tradition. And that's where guests simply get together. They come as they are, straight from their expedition, whether they are in the Mediterranean or polar regions or northern Europe. It doesn't matter. They come as they are, straight from being out and about, and they get to connect over a cocktail or canapes. We also have high tea sometimes, or we also provide high tea, and you could just do a nice tea. You don't have to drink all the time, but it is included. So I would say go for it. Um, and then you just don't feel like you have to rush off to your room to get ready for dinner. It is this very relaxed environment, and I think that that's such a nice touch. You'll also see that our accommodations are exceptionally spacious. They have marble spa baths. There's amenities by L'Occitane, and we also have the sea spa by L'Occitane. I know that John mentioned Paula's Pantry, so that picture over there with one of our crew members making coffee. She's actually in Paula's Pantry. I love it too. I think it's an incredible little coffee shop. They have canapes 24-hour, or we have canapes. And I think that's between like 6 and around 7 p.m. So you can just run over there, go grab something either cold or hot. They'll heat it up for you if it's supposed to be warm, and grab a coffee, any kind of coffee you can imagine. I heard someone order a flat white. I don't really know what that is, but I was surprised that we could just make anything, I guess, that Starbucks or any, specialty coffee shop could make. But yeah, so our personalized service, this is where I think, we really, really thrive. I think our service is bar none the best in the industry. I have been on so many luxury cruises, yacht experiences, mass cruise lines. And I just think that what makes them so special is they're traveling the world with our guests. They also get to get off of the yacht and experience it all. And so when you're having a conversation with our crew, they're having a conversation that's knowledgeable and excited to talk to you. And I think that that's wonderful. And also that one-to-one guest to staff ratio is super important. You never feel like it's not invasive, but it's very anticipatory service. And so they can kind of figure out what you need before you actually know what you need, or ask for it. Everyone is so genuinely warm and welcoming. Every time you walk past the front desk, they know you by name at that point, which is so amazing. There's only under 200 guests on board, and so they really get to know everybody very quickly. They call you by Miss and your first name, or Mr. and your first name, and it's just really nice knowing that you feel kind of seen and known. We do have 24-hour bar service. And yes, if you are at 3 a.m. and you decide you need a old fashioned, you can order one and they'll bring it to you. We do have complimentary wash and fold laundry service in our reserve collection suites. And then we have butler service as well. So I think that we just bar none, best service at sea. And then here's what's included. We've discussed our pillars, our year-round expeditions and everything, but what's included, right? And an all-inclusive approach is expected in luxury segment. You don't want to be worrying about costs and transactions while you're doing this amazing trip. And just to simplify this long list of specific inclusions you see, all gratuities, dining, and beverages are included. And as I mentioned before, we have that immersive cultural experience that is included on every single voyage. We also add inclusions to each region to enhance specific expedition experiences. So in our polar regions, we do have free charter jet service from Buenos Aires to Ushuaia and back. We have free cruise hotel. We have all of our Zodiac safaris. We also include a jacket, parka, and I think that's really nice because sometimes people don't know what to pack. In the Mediterranean, we include free cooking demonstrations, wine tastings. We also include a backpack so that you have something nice logoed and everything that you can take with you on shore. And then in several destinations, we also include the Atlas Focus Lab, which includes drone photography and astronomy workshops on board. And then we chatted through the long list of inclusions, but just to clarify a few things that are not included, we have our reserve wines and spirits. So all of our food and beverage is included. But if you do want, those really, really specialty reserve wines or reserve spirits, then yes, those are additional. Our optional shore excursions and specialty dining events. So we do have somewhat of a chef's table on board. And then we have our spa treatments also that are not included. Also, I just wanted to mention that as part of being, part of the MOAA experience, you also have $100 on board to spend. So I hear spa or see spa in your future. And then just to kind of close out, you know, everything that we do here at Atlas before we move into these beautiful itineraries that we'll be talking about. I just wanted to mention that I think what's so beautiful about an intimate yachting expedition is that you do get to connect with people, and it is a true connection. I have friends that I made back in November that I still talk to. We're in WhatsApp chats because, some are from Australia, some are from England. And so being able to stay in touch after you've connected so deeply with these people on something that's so meaningful in your life, it's just really, really nice. And we're able to do that through being in an intimate setting. You do get these connections with other curious, adventurous people. You get to connect genuinely with a caring staff, and our expedition teams are just incredible. And there's an expedition team on every single voyage, whether we're in the polar regions, Mediterranean, or our cultural expeditions. And they just change out. They become different people. You have visiting vintners. You have top chefs or visiting chefs in the Mediterranean. So I think you'll get to see a bit of that when you guys are on board. And then we will move into what is exclusive to you guys is this MOAA Signature Group. This is the 2027 France and Spain itinerary. It is so beautiful. It's just a gorgeous taste of the south of France and southern Spain. So we'll jump right in. So with this, you'll start out in Nice. And it's really just it's so beautiful in the stunning Côte d'Azur. You get to stroll along the famous promenade, explore the colorful streets and markets of Old Nice, or just relax on one of the city's iconic Riviera beaches like Blue Beach or Castel Beach. And then on to Portofino. Portofino sits along the beautiful Ligurian coast. It really is at the heart of the town is a piazza. It is so beautiful. It's surrounded by colorful buildings, stylish cafes and restaurants. You take a stroll by the harbor, enjoy Italian gelato, fresh pesto. You can explore nearby hidden gems like San Frutuoso or Santa Margherita. And then we venture back to France, find ourselves in the heart of the spectacular Côte d'Azur in Saint-Tropez. Saint-Tropez is just a sleepy little seaside village with this rich maritime history, but it achieved this celebrity beginning in the 1960s. As you know, there's tons of celebrities that go here, so maybe you'll get a good celebrity sighting. But I would say explore this hexagon-shaped citadel. It did serve as the defender of the Gulf, and it just contains a beautiful maritime museum. And the grounds are just like breathtaking views of the Côte d'Azur. And then next up, you have Cassis in France. Cassis is situated east of Marseille. It's in the French Riviera, southern France, just so beautiful. It's a popular tourist destination, famous for its cliffs and sheltered inlets. It's also a famous filming location featured in the 1971 film, The French Connection. So that's a fun little tidbit of history. And then along the Vermilion coast, we have the charming village of Collioure. It is a picturesque blend of historic castles, colorful houses, and of course, that beautiful deep blue ocean. It does remain relatively undiscovered. It's frequented mostly by French locals enjoying summer holidays. Some of those highlights, there's a Notre Dame there, which is very beautiful. Chateau Royal, it's their castle there, and the Fisherman's Quarter. And then we move into Mahon. This is in Menorca. That kind of begins the Spanish part of the voyage. The capital of Spain, the capital of the Spanish island of Menorca is Mahon. It's well known for its British style Georgian houses and its sheltered harbor. When visiting Mahon, you should also plan to focus on sampling a lot of the local fare. They have fresh seafood, refreshing gin, and extremely delicious cheeses. It really is a foodie's paradise. It's actually home to where mayonnaise was invented. And then up to, we're going to call it Ibiza, even though it's really Ibiza. Give yourself a little lisp in there. This is home to that old port, historic city ramparts, and it's also been declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The island also has some of the most beautiful, well-known beaches in the Mediterranean. So wherever you choose to swim, sunbathe, you'll really find these clear blue, beautiful waters, golden sands lined with beach bars. And then finally, we end in Barcelona. This is the capital of Spain's Catalonian region. Barcelona does live up to its reputation as the center of grand architecture, of inspiring art. You have the Gothic Quarter in the city's historic center. There's lots of medieval buildings and streets that are turned into modern bars, clubs, and restaurants. You'll also get the chance to see the Familia Sagrada, and it's like 5 generations have watched it being built. So I think that's pretty cool. It should be completed in 2034. As of February of this year, I believe the outside is complete, and so now they're just doing the inside and completing hopefully by 2034. And then as John mentioned, I think it's really important to just tell you that there is still a little bit of space on this one. I think this one is so beautiful. We're not going to go as in depth because the real focus of today was the Spain and France. But I did want to say, just this one is so gorgeous. It is a foodies type of voyage. But I think what's really nice about this is you start all the way up in Ireland, so you get to go to Dublin and Waterford, and then you come down and you start getting into France and Spain and end up in Portugal. So you get to see so much of the coastline of, all the way up from Ireland down through Europe. It's really just a beautiful, beautiful itinerary with so many different types of landscapes. And so you get to see a ton in just a short amount of time. And that is it for me, John. I'm going to hand it back to you.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Hey, one of the things I wanted to mention, and we did a previous webinar on this cruise, and somebody asked about which of the ports of call on France and Spain that did we actually dock and which ones did we tendered. And for those who are not familiar with the term, tenders where the port does not have the dock facilities, so you actually are put in a tender ship and go in. Uh, when we are looking into that, a lot of those ports of call that we go to, we are the only ship in port that day. I think in one of them there are 2 ships that are there that day, and the other ship is a ship similar size to us, is not a U.S. Marketed ship. But I always think that's so important because when you go into these smaller ports of call, um, you don't want to be there when they're crazy crowded. We did Greek Isles, I mentioned last year, and we did go to a couple of the bigger itineraries. But when you go to like Santorini, there's like 4 or 5 ships there, and it's very, very crowded. So not only is it an intimate experience on board, but also when our group of 180, 190 people get off the ship and go into these smaller port cities, it's not like an overwhelming crowd, which really, I think, enhances the experience. So, as a reminder, we don't have any questions yet. So, if you have a question, if you take your cursor down the bottom of your screen, you should see something, a little conversation bubble with a question mark and it says Q&A. If you don't see that, you're looking for a circle with 3 dots in it that says more, and just go ahead and type your questions in there. While we're waiting just to see, give everybody a chance if they think of anyone. I know no one ever wants to be the first to ask a question, but we did record this webinar. So we actually downloaded from Zoom and then we upload it to YouTube. So in a couple of hours, you should get an email which will have a link to this webinar please feel free to share it with friends, family, neighbors, whomever you think might be interested in joining you as well. It really is a great experience. I personally have sailed on Atlas now twice. I went once with an industry event, which is a unique kind of thing that we participate in. It's basically 50 travel agents and about 25 vendors, and each year a different vendor hosts it. So a couple of years ago, Atlas hosted it, so I did do a South America cruise. Um, with that group, and then as I mentioned, I escorted the Atlas Greek Isles group last year. Some of which I'll speak of. One of the things that we talk about when we do these, and it's important that we're along with them to make sure. Uh, Everyone in the group in the Greek Isles last year got 2 gigabytes of complimentary data. And we had some people that didn't realize how many like apps or programs they had running in the background. So they logged in once, and then over the course of the cruise, they actually ran out of that 2 gigabytes of data. So what we've done on both the cruise this October and both the cruises next year is Atlas has been kind enough to offer everyone premium unlimited Wi-Fi in addition to the $100 onboard credit, and that is per person. So it's not one of those situations, and I've done it before. When I went to Royal Caribbean with my daughter and she brought a friend along where we only, somebody has to log out of the account so you can log into it. So each person gets their own account. So yeah, if you're on your phone and you want to switch to your laptop, you switch from your phone to your laptop. But each person has their own premium unlimited Wi-Fi account, and that I think we calculated it. The price varies depending on the number of days of the trip because obviously you pay Wi-Fi on a day basis, but it's $280, $320 added value in
Yeah.
addition to the discount and the $100 shipboard credit. Okay, so can't read without my glasses. What are the exact dates for the cruise Kelly spoke of, the France to Barcelona? Kelly?
France to Barcelona is July, oh my
Nine,
gosh, man,
July 19th through the 27th.
19th to the 20th. Thank you.
Yep.
I
Okay.
had October in my head.
It's all right. When we talk about two of them, I have the website up on my computer. So Dick asked what the price was. Dick, the price starts at 57.99 double occupancy. The single supplement, that is for the Adventure Ocean Suite. And I think it's important to mention that this is an all-suite yacht. So the Adventure Ocean is the lead-in, the most economical suite, if you will. So that's 57.99, but they have, what is it, 10 different suite categories. And so as you move up in suites, you're going to see a price increase. They do bundle all their suites into 3 suite categories. So they have the signature suites, the concierge suites, and the reserve suites. And it's on the website, but the amenities that you receive is sort of like if you're in a concierge suite, you get all the benefits of a signature suite plus these. And then if you're in one of the top suites, the reserve suites, you get all the amenities of the concierge suites and the signature suites plus additional amenities on top of that. So not only are the staterooms getting larger, you're also getting more amenities as you go up. And one other thing I would mention is a great thing that I think is that you have your choice of balconies when you are on one of the Atlas yachts. So they have the traditional balconies where you have a sliding glass door and you walk out and there's a couple of chairs there and a small table. So it's an actual walkout balcony. They also have rooms that have what they call a Juliet balcony, and the Juliet balconies are the rooms where it's a floor-to-ceiling window, and the top half of the glass comes down, and basically your entire suite becomes your balcony. They are larger in the fact that the square footage that is allocated to the walkout balcony basically, so total square footage is the same, but if this one has a 90 square foot balcony, then the one without the walkout balcony is 90 square feet bigger, if that makes sense. So Dick, when you receive the email tonight, that will have the link to the YouTube link to watch the video again if you'd like or share it. It'll also have a link to the website. There is a tab on the website which is for pricing and accommodations. And if you click on that, it'll show a deck plan of the ship. So you see where all the suites are. And then you'll see the pricing for the various different types of suites. And then you will see a picture and what is it? A diagram, I guess, for lack of a better word, of the suite, as well as information on all the different suites that are available. So all of that information is online. Okay, I missed the first 10 minutes. Will we be able to see the cost of the cruise and the various suites? Yeah, so I think that's just a kind of a repeat of the other question, but just repeat it again. It'll be on the website. There are 10 different suite categories, each of which has a different price. Amenities change, the layout, those kind of things change. Anything you want to add, Kelly, on the suites on the ship or the classes?
I think the only thing that I would add is I think what's great about the concierge collection, which is your second tier,
Mhm.
is the price increase is really not a huge one for all of the amenities that you're getting. And you're also gaining some savings. So you have like 10% off, different things like shore excursion or, anything, 10% off spa. So I get 10%, I think, off in our store on board. So you get these percentages off as well. So you get savings, right? And I think that that's always a really nice kind of way to kind of, I guess, think about, yeah, I'm just going to go up to concierge collection so that you can kind of have these added savings.
Yeah, I do think it's great the way they do that. So as you go up, in addition to better location for the stateroom
Hmm.
or a larger stateroom or whatever it is, they also increase the amenities as you kind of go up the list
Right.
as well. There is the website for those solo travelers. We know there's a lot of those in MOA. The website does show what the single supplement is. For the staterooms, you can get a single supplement. You can get a single room in either a signature suite or a concierge suite. There is not a single supplement on the reserve suites. So if you were a single traveler and wanted a reserve suite, you would have to pay 200% of the double occupancy rate. So, but a lot of great options in the other seven suites that are there. Um, we still got a couple more minutes. We try to keep them under an hour, but if we don't have any more questions, we obviously are not going to take anybody's additional time. I really can't think of any of the questions we've gotten in the past that we have not answered.
One that we I feel like we get every time is about bringing wine back because we're in the
Oh
Mediterranean.
yeah,
So, for instance, in the Dublin to Porto, we're in Bordeaux. And so we do not charge a corkage fee. You are welcome to bring wine back with you if you visit a really nice vineyard. There's also going to be vineyards on that France and Spain July sailing as well. And so if you want to bring on a bottle or two of wine, absolutely feel free. We don't have corkage. Bring it on and enjoy it at dinner.
yeah. When you say the 2026 cruise, the Dublin to Porto, we had somebody ask when we did the
Oh,
webinar,
that's
and
right.
by the way, we have a webinar on that Dublin to Porto cruise. So if you're interested, just drop us an email or give us a call and say, you can probably find it on YouTube. MOA Vacations Atlas. There's a number of them there. But no, somebody asked about they were going to go to Jameson and they were wanting to know if they could bring a bottle of whiskey on board. And I can't remember what they said, but whatever they were going to buy and bring on board is already on board the ship. So
Yeah,
keep in mind that it's open bars, open 24 hours a day.
that's
That's
right.
that's
24
got
hours.
MOA written all over it. But no, so yeah, I mean we did a wine tasting on board when we were in the Greek Isles, and people went to the wine tasting like 3 in the afternoon, and people bought bottles, and a couple people actually bought a bottle of the wine they had at the wine tasting to dinner that night because they
Mhm.
really liked it. Other people were like, yes, I bought wine, but I'm going to take that home. I'm going to have the free wine they have at dinner. So, but
Right.
yeah, absolutely. You bring a wine on board. The sommeliers will absolutely serve it for you. As you mentioned, no cork each fee. So yeah. Evening attire. Oh, great question. It is, and I'm going to use the term country club casual.
Yep.
But really, a lot of people ask what that means. During the day, you're going to be getting off the ship doing excursions. The weather's going to be gorgeous in July in the Med. So probably shorts and t-shirts during the day. In the evening, I think, and Kelly can correct me, I think they ask for no jeans and no t-shirts kind of in the dining room. You know,
Yep.
some people will bring like a sweater or a jacket. I think I wore a jacket most nights, but that's just me and I'm working. You're on vacation, so it's kind of different. But whatever you want to bring, if you want to dress up, absolutely do. Keep in mind, we are holding the entire ship for MOAA members, so these are going to be your fellow MOAA members. So, in my family, when I go on vacations, we haven't done it as much now that my daughter's older. But when my daughter was younger, my wife liked to do Christmas pictures, for like the Christmas card thing. So we would always bring something nice to dress up for that or something like that. We will have theme parties on board. Obviously, I can tell you last year for the Greek Isles cruise, we did a dressed in white party and a 70s disco party. And I will include a link to it. I got a video, just like not even a minute long clip of both of those parties. And really, some of the outfits that people had for that 70s party just blew me away, the effort that went into them. But they're fun to participate.
Yep.
Obviously, if you don't want to, you don't. But I think it's fun sometimes to be involved. Sure, we'll do theme parties for the cruise this October. Probably do the same because they went over so well. And then we'll figure out what we're going to do next year. But once again, we talk about doing these exclusive events on board. It's supposed to be fun. It's vacation, for goodness sake. So, obviously, one night at dinner on the disco night, a lot of people were dressed. I was wearing silver pants, so we'll just say that for the disco night. So, no, but anyway, back to the actual question, evening attire, whatever you're comfortable in. Slacks and a polo short for the gentlemen, whatever the women want to wear.
We see lots of linen,
Yeah.
med for sure. But you're right, med is a little bit more dressy, and I think it's just it's not that we drive it that way. I think it just tends to be that people want to dress up a little bit more. In the polar regions, it is really like, I mean, leggings. Like people are coming from their expedition and they're like, let's go to eat. So I like that in the Med
I,
it does kind of
I,
dress up a little.
Yeah, I think the MOA cruises are more relaxed attire
Yeah,
than because I've been on Atlas twice and it seemed a lot more relaxed attire and a lot more people participating in the theme nights
that's
uh,
awesome.
just for the MOA group. And then we do river cruises for signature groups as well. And once again, I've been on a couple of those on vacation and I really seem to think that the MOA group really embraces the, relaxed kind of attire. You're going to
I love
be around fellow officers. So, it's it's not the dress to impress. Somebody once asked if we'd ever considered doing a military ball on board, and we have not, just because of most people do not want to bring their dress uniform all the way on vacation with them for one evening. So it would appear that is the end of the questions. If you're like me, as soon as this webinar completes, you're going to think of something. You're going to get an email tonight. It will have our email address on it and our phone number on it. Give us a call. Go to the website. We're here to answer any questions you might have. I truly hope you can join us. We pick Atlas for a reason for these signature groups because obviously, all the cruise lines would like to host MOA trips, and we selected Atlas because they just do a phenomenal job. It was such I can't express to you. If you watch the video, you might get just a glimpse of it, but how much fun that group was on that Atlas cruise. And we got off of it and said, we need to keep using Atlas. They do a phenomenal job. Like Kelly said, a very friendly, personable staff. You're going to feel like your family on board. And, the staff to crew, the staff to guest ratio is almost 1 to 1. So if we have 180 guests, there is a lot of crew on board. They are everywhere, friendly, doing everything you need. It's just going to be a wonderful cruise. And I'm along for the ride to make sure that everything goes well. So be on the lookout for that email. Um, think about it, friends and family you have who might want to come with you that would make your trip more enjoyable. And give us a call, drop us an email. We'd love to help you. And Kelly, I'm going to turn it over to you for the last word.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. It's, just like John said, that they've chosen Atlas. Well, it is our complete honor to have you guys on board. And we absolutely love when we have MOAA on so much that now we're increasing from one group a year to two groups a year. So it really is an honor to have you all on board. And we hope to see you very soon. So thank you so much.
Have a great week, everybody.